Hello there, Brick Fanatics. I have here a collection of tiny little people, and with your permission I'm going to tell you my opinion on those tiny little people and whether or not you should purchase those tiny little people with your money. Hopefully this will be a helpful video for you, but at the same time you can probably look at the pictures of these tiny little people and probably get a fairly decent idea of which ones you actually want and which ones are just not going to necessarily be for you. With the last series of collectible minifigures, we got the Dungeons and Dragons characters, and they are absolutely fabulous, and I feel like one of those collections of minifigures that a lot of people said, I want the full set, maybe for the first time ever. And so now that we're back to some more traditional LEGO collectible minifigures, you've got a series of characters where some of them do definitely appeal to some people more than others, and you may well be tempted to only pick up a few of the favourites that you see here, unless you're the kind of weirdo who collects absolutely every single one of these. Who would possibly do that? Sound off in the comments. Now, as said, the review of a minifigure is very different to the review of a bigger LEGO set because I can't really tell you anything about how satisfying it is to put the build together because there's very little build here. What you see is what you get. But sometimes there is a little bit of insight to be gained from actually holding the thing in your hand, and it feels a little bit different as a result. So don't necessarily think that you can take these completely at face value because there may well be a few little surprises in here after all. Spoiler alert, this one in particular, Cupid, took me by surprise because I thought I had it all figured out and I absolutely did not. Right, I'm going to do these at random. I've got them on my table here. I'm going to start with this one. What have we got? Ooh, Jetpack Racer. A very interesting one to start with. So it's been confirmed that the helmet, at least, for this minifigure was not intended to be a collectible minifigure at this point. It was initially designed as a video minifigure piece, and that means that it's quite old, and it's interesting that it's only now turning up, and I wonder how many other different ideas from video have been recycled into other things over the years. As it is, I quite like this one, more so than I thought I was going to. I thought to myself when I first saw it, well, it looks like it would have gone really well with the space theme and it's just a little bit late. But there's so much more going on here. I love, for example, the printing on the arms and legs. I love the Octan printing on the side there as a kind of a sponsor for this high-tech, super sci-fi sport that is jetpack racing. The helmet itself is really, really nice, and it is a shame that we haven't had this sooner and we didn't get this in video at any point because it is very, very cool with the dual molding here. So it's got white on it, it's got printing on the top, and then also with this transparent red layer in the middle, it means that you can see your little discount Tony Stark doing his little discount Tony Stark thing, and he's absolutely a little discount Tony Stark because he's even got the little chin fuzz or stubble going on there and the smirk that you would expect of a Tony Stark minifigure. I actually quite like the printing though on the other side of this as well, which is very, very nice. There's a kind of a muzzle covered up look to him, which I think is absolutely fab. So while I wasn't expecting this one to take me by storm, definitely it is a little bit cooler than I was expecting. The only real downside is the jetpack, which sticks out just a little bit further than I personally would like. It's not the most elegant solution for a jetpack in minifigure form, but aside from that, yeah, not a bad one. The helmet in particular is definitely worth having. I feel like this is the kind of theme where even if a particular minifigure isn't for you, you might find an element of that minifigure that you really gel with, and so you'll be wanting maybe parts of these minifigures, if not even the whole things. If that is the case, make sure you use the Brick Search app. It's just had a big update, very significant changes to it, works significantly better now, a lot easier to use. Download the Brick Search app, then upgrade to Brick Search Plus to get unlimited use of the new and improved minifigure scanner. That will allow you to scan boxes even if you are offline and do not have internet signal, which is a really fab thing depending on where you live and where you like to scan your minifigure boxes. I'm not going to lie, for some reason there are still black spots for me when I'm using my phone where I just can't get signal. And towards the end of my poor last phone's lifespan, it just randomly decided it wasn't going to work anymore. Anyway, that's Jetpack Racer. Let's see who we've got next. Ooh, the Boogeyman. Look out, it's the Boogeyman. So this one is another one actually that I saw the pictures of it and I thought, oh yeah, I've got the hang of this, I've got this sussed. And then I looked at it in person and was like, oh, that head is significantly larger than I thought it was going to be. Not that it like towers over other minifigures. Like if you look at the relative size, it's not huge, but there's so much mouth there that it ends up feeling just a little bit, not necessarily scary because this is meant to be a cute Boogeyman, but it's certainly more imposing than I was anticipating. One of the things I absolutely love about this one is it comes with this really cool book element with Boo on the cover. Just a lovely kind of brilliant, spooky little book there, and a picture of the Boogeyman on the inside. Definitely, I feel like I'm going to have more use for the book than for the Boogeyman, which is a shame for the poor Boogeyman, but then at the same time, I can put this with my collection of books in my little Lego library and have a little bit more variety. I do absolutely love being able to add new books to my Lego library, so that's really, really neat. Otherwise, the minifigure itself, I do like it. I do think it is quite a lot of face. And then the ruffles on the back of the fur remind me a lot of the Yeti minifigure that we've had. Well, that was quite a while ago now. So it's always interesting to see minifigures that kind of fit into a particular pattern or a particular art style or design style so that they can go together and feel like they are part of a whole. Alright, now you're watching this video and you're thinking, yeah, okay, the Boogeyman is fine, the Jetpack Racer is fine, but we know what we're here for. Everybody is here for the same thing. It is Wolfpack Beastmaster. This is, absolutely the minifigure that got the budget this time around. So naturally, this is going to be a very popular minifigure that a lot of people are going to want to get their hands on, and I have good news for you. This one not only lives up to the hype of getting another Wolfpack member, this one is a very, very nice one as well. It has printing on its arms, it has printing on its legs, and the printing is top notch. I've got to say, there's a level of detail here with the chainmail that I think is particularly nice. It's got this wonderful cloak element, which is made of a particularly fuzzy and fluffy fabric, so it feels like it's an animal pelt of some kind, because this Beastmaster is presumably living with the wolves and really embracing that wolf pack side of the wolf pack, and so it's just a really, really nice cloth element that feels like a notch above what we normally get. Absolutely no rubber capes for this guy, and it would be absolutely inappropriate if he had a rubber cape, because this one is very much more wolfy in its design. Then you've got the classic Wolfpack shield. Nothing really different about that. You didn't really need anything different about that. I think if it were completely different, or if it had a redesign, a lot of people would be disappointed because it's not the Wolfpack shield. And then the head of this minifigure is particularly nice. He's got two moods. He's got surly and he's got awoo, which is not a mood, but it should be. I feel like I'm on a shopping channel or something when I say this, but that's not all. Also included in the box is a wolf as well. Awoo, awoo indeed. I love this wolf element. I want it to be in everything going forward, even sets that don't need a wolf. I think it could also work very well for a particularly fluffy and wolf-esque dog, like a husky, if you wanted like an even larger husky dog minifigure. It's a really, really nice piece, and the fact that all of this is in the box definitely gives me the sense that this is the one that got the budget. This is the one that is a little bit more detailed and has a little bit more thrown in there, where you see some of the others are a little bit lackluster by comparison. As a result, I do expect these ones to be very popular, and it's probably going to be the hardest to get hold of these. Again, the Brick Search app is going to be your friend here in finding exactly the minifigures that you're looking for. I've decided to go straight from probably what is going to be the most popular minifigure in this lineup to one of the ones that I think is absolutely fantastic and that I definitely want to get multiple copies of. It's this wonderful Astronomer kid. She is just delightful. We get like a science kid fairly regularly with these. She comes with a little brick-built telescope, which is absolutely fabulous. But the really exciting thing is that this is the minifigure debut of the prosthetic hand element that has otherwise been showing up in LEGO Friends sets for the character of Autumn. It's interesting to see the LEGO group take the prosthetic hand from the LEGO Friends mini dolls and just plug it onto a minifigure, because these are two very different types of shoulders and arms. And so we've got here a minifigure element that then kind of narrows to a bar piece, which is fantastic for representation, yes, but there are also other things that you can do with this which makes it particularly exciting. For example, the usage that immediately occurred to me was you can stick a lightsaber onto the end of this arm, which is pretty neat. But even as I look at that without the lightsaber beam itself, I'm getting Metroid vibes from this. If the LEGO group continues their trend of partnering with Nintendo for LEGO sets, I would quite like to see this used for the gun arm for Metroid, no, for Samus Aran. It could also be used for Mega Man if we got very lucky, but either way, it's a wonderful piece that now adds so many more different potential options to minifigures and minifigure interactions with other elements. How many of those we'll actually see, I don't know, but there is the possibility and the potential there. Anyway, moving right along, which one's next? Oh, it's Longboarder. I like this one. I like the 90s energy here. I love the ripped jeans. I love the plasters slash band-aids she's got all over her face. I love the fact that her hair is sticking out of the top of her hat and out of the back of her hat, which just feels very 90s. It's a wonderful minifigure that calls back to a particular moment in sporting history, the extreme sports moment. I mean, not that you can't have ripped trousers and you can't be a skater nowadays as well. It's just, it feels very 90s to me. I don't know, maybe you look at this thing and think it feels very 2000s or 2010s or 2020s. Have you noticed how all of human history, indeed, well, all of the past few decades of fashion and trends seem to all be happening at once at the moment? I do feel like this is complete tangent, but I feel like the internet gives people more opportunity to just be who they want to be and to find their own community. And so that's why we've got things like skaters sticking around long after they would have otherwise, I think, disappeared, because trends from the before times, before the internet, tended to not last quite as long. Or maybe it's just we're in the nostalgia cycle and everybody's nostalgic for the extreme sports of the 90s and the 2000s. Either way, I like this minifigure. She's got two faces. She's got, again, surly, but then also kind of cheeky. She looks like she's had a very good time, but also had a few injuries along the way, and that's absolutely fine. This is a minifigure that I think is going to appeal to people who love themselves a little bit of longboarding anyway, but also people who want to add something spicy to a cityscape or a townscape that they may happen to have set up. There's a lot of options here, and of course the Lego City theme is always doing skateboarding sets, etc., so this is going to fit very well with a lot of the other stuff that people may well already have on display or just be playing with a lot, so that's a really nice thing to have. Alright, I'm going to talk about this one now. I apologise in advance to lovers of hamsters. The hamster minifigure does not do it for me, and that doesn't mean that if you like this one you are wrong. It simply means that it is not to my tastes. I feel like when you compare the amount that's in this box to the Wolfpack Beastmaster, there's an awful lot less going on here, and that is kind of unfortunate because it feels just like this one is a little bit lackluster. You get one tiny tile's worth of cucumber slice as your bonus accessory in the box, and otherwise it's just a little hamster. It's not even got long legs. It's got the tiny teeny little legs which you would expect of somebody dressed up as a hamster, I suppose. It's got the nice, like the headpiece of this one is quite cute, I will not lie. I do think that that's quite fun. It's just that there's nothing else in here, and I feel like there would have been an opportunity for a little bit more. It's almost as if the amount relative that is in this box versus the Beastmaster is just that the Beastmaster has just helped himself to some of the stuff out of the hamster box, and that does feel fitting. Do you know what? I'm not going to complain anymore. I'm okay with that because I've come up with a story that makes sense. Righto, Inventor, Steampunk Inventor. This one is a fun one. It's another one that I feel like might have some uses for people who want to make custom minifigures based on a computer game, because he's got this delightful steampunk thing on his arm, some kind of grabby clawy thing, and I see the central element of this as being a potentially very useful thing for anybody who wants to make a Fallout Pip-Boy in Lego. I doubt that Fallout is going to get official Lego anytime soon. I could be wrong. We did get Dune Lego set, but Fallout feels like a step beyond in terms of violence and gore. That means that this may not necessarily be something that the Lego group is willing to partner with, but otherwise this minifigure is pretty brilliant, even if he is not going to be the basis of a Fallout collection in future. Not that Fallout is steampunk, I'm just saying that that piece reminds me of the Pip-Boy. But the minifigure itself, the printing on this one, so gorgeous. Some of the best that I think I've ever seen on a minifigure. Just the design here with all of the stuff that's going on. Some of these minifigures have relatively basic printing, some of these minifigures have more complicated and detailed designs, and that depends on the minifigure and it depends on what the minifigure needs. And this one definitely feels particularly pretty and particularly well designed. There's just a lot going on here which you would expect of a steampunk design and a steampunk outfit. He's got one pearl gold arm, even if you take off the mechanical thingy, which I guess suggests that the entire arm is all mechanical, and that you can just remove the thing though and then have a different option. Oh, he's got dual molded legs, which I like as well. I hadn't even noticed that up to this point. That's a very nice inclusion. He's got so many different gadgets and gizmos to him. The hat, I'm not sure about the hat. The hat is fine. I would have liked like a custom molded element. I'm aware that I'm asking quite a lot in a minifigure that has already got so much going on, but I'll take what I can get with this one, because otherwise this is a very, very nice minifigure, and that's just a minor quibble in a thing that is otherwise one of these standout brilliant pieces in this series. Next up is a lovely little fluff ball. Now you've got this cat lover here, you've got this yarn or wool element here, you've got a lovely kitty cat woolen jumper here, and all of that's fine, but the cat is really what we're here for. It's a different alternative cat design. It fits perfectly with the other cats that we have had in Lego form before. It's got an awful lot more fluff to it. It is absolutely charming and very, very exciting to have. Now we have a different breed of cat in Lego form, where we've had previously just different color versions of the same and different size versions of the same. So this is very nice to have, even aside from the minifigure that comes with it. As said, I quite like the woolen jumper that this guy is rocking. I like his head well enough. He's got glasses on, but I also quite like that he's got like cat fur all over his legs, which is a nice inclusion. It's something that we have seen in Lego form before. I believe there's a cat lady from the Lego movie collectible minifigures which had similar fur all over her top. Here we've got it on the legs as well, but really it's the cat that is the big win in this box. And I feel like, as said, with this series of minifigures, there are going to be little bits of these minifigures that you might want to get hold of, even if you don't want the entire minifigure. And so for that reason, I feel like these cats are going to be in demand, and yeah, definitely make sure that you're using that brick search app in order to find them. Otherwise it may get a little bit tricky depending on the minifigure. Now another one that kind of underwhelmed me is the Pterodactyl. The Pterodactyl again is fine. There are no bad minifigures in this lineup. There's just some that have more in the box than others, and maybe I'm just a sucker for an extra accessory or what have you. The Pterodactyl, I feel like I say these for all of the dinosaur collectible minifigures. I would have liked the Pterodactyl to have come with a little pterodactyl element, like a cuddly toy pterodactyl or what have you. It would be a nice inclusion in there to add to the pterodactyl minifigure itself. This one though just has those big old wings as I guess the big draw here, and then of course the head element, and that's all fine. But really the thing that stands out for me with this minifigure is the face itself. That's not normally the case with these, but I do like the face because we've got a rather maniacal, angry, kind of evil looking female face here with some expressions that you wouldn't normally get. I also quite dig her blue lipstick that she's rocking. This is a cool face, and I can think of more uses maybe for the face than for the entire pterodactyl minifigure, which is a little bit of a shame, but it is nice to have a face with a different kind of expression that is not necessarily quite as common with our female minifigure faces, because let's face it, a lot of female minifigure faces just have that same kind of blank, vaguely smirky expression without having any real personality or character or emotion to them. Now, as mentioned, Cupid surprised me. Cupid's got little legs, Cupid's got a little heart element, Cupid's got that classic Lego bow that has been around for decades and decades in a wonderful red colour, which is nice to have. Cupid is rocking a hairpiece that we have seen before, but in a colour that we have not seen it in before because he's a lovely little blonde boy. And then he's got these white wings. And I suspected / assumed that for Cupid, they were going to use the same wings that we got in the Dungeons and Dragons minifigures for the Aarakocra Ranger. If you've seen our video where we went searching for collectible minifigures at the LEGO store, you will recognise Corvid Vicious, my Dungeons & Dragons original character, who has himself a large double bass, which he uses to play sweet, sweet music. He's got these brilliant big wings, and I figured why not use them on Cupid. But no, Cupid instead has little wings, which is absolutely significantly more fitting for the character. It's a nice little extra thing for them to put into this minifigure where they probably could have just gotten away with using the other wings. What's particularly special about these ones is that where the Aarakocra Ranger wings are one piece, these ones can pop off, and so you can use them for other things. And this, I think, is going to be an element that is going to have so many uses beyond LEGO minifigures. You don't have to put this on the back of a minifigure. You could do all kinds of things with a bunch of feathers. I really look forward to seeing what people come up with and how many inventive and ingenious ways people can think of for using that particular LEGO element. All of that said, I do quite like Cupid. Even when I was assuming that it was all going to be reused parts in different colours, I figured this is actually quite an inventive way of putting together a minifigure, a design that we wouldn't necessarily have seen otherwise, which is really just a wonderful and very cute and charming thing. As said, some of these minifigures have more complicated printing than others. Cupid is nice and simple and straightforward, and that is what you would expect of this kind of minifigure, so I think that absolutely works. All in all, while maybe not one that I would have necessarily been desperate to get hold of in the same way that some of these are just absolutely must-have minifigures, I feel like this is a really strong contender and probably one of the best ones in the series. Right, now, Plush Toy Collector. Plush Toy Collector is going to be polarizing. Some people are going to look at this and be like, oh, why do I need a girl in her pajamas and some cuddly toys, whatever. And some people are going to look at this and say, Squishmallows. In case you're not up to date on the latest trends for all things cuddly and cute, Squishmallows are basically the Beanie Babies of the 2020s. They are squishy and cuddly and fun. They come in a variety of different designs and styles. They are incredibly dangerously collectible. Lots of people like to get their hands on them, and they are imitated by basically every other toy company out there. In fact, so popular are Squishmallows that even the LEGO Group is getting in on the copycat act, which is impressive when you consider that there is nothing cuddly or squishy about most LEGO products. These are some very nice big-eyed Squishmallow-esque designs, just legally distinct enough to not cause the LEGO Group any problems, but anybody who knows anything about Squishmallows is going to see this and instantly think, yeah, I know what that is. As a result of that, if you do not collect Squishmallows, you might look at this minifigure and think, I can let this one pass me by. But the people who do collect Squishmallows are absolutely definitely going to want this one. So I think this one might end up being rarer than you anticipate. Finally, I have saved the best for last. I really, really love this pirate quartermaster minifigure. She is so cool. I love me a pirate minifigure. Pirates are definitely the LEGO faction that I bonded with the most as a child, and so it is wonderful to see all of the modern extra stuff that we get that falls into that pirate theming. Some pirate minifigures are better than others. This one, she's got this wonderful distressed skirt element, I guess it is. She's got brilliant printing on her front and back and legs and arms. Lots of jewellery here, which is really neat to see. She's got the classic LEGO cutlass. Nothing new about that. We've all seen these a million times before, but fair enough. She's got a gorgeous, gorgeous hairpiece. Just absolutely brilliant with like afro hair up in a scarf, which is going to be useful for a lot of other minifigures beyond this one. Just a wonderful piece there that adds a bit more diversity to the lineup of LEGO pirates that you can have on your pirate ship or in your pirate fort. And then, of course, there is this wonderful cockatoo piece with a brilliant yellow crest on the top. Just spectacular, really fun to get the punkest of punk birds in LEGO form. That then is the full lineup of the Series 27 collectible minifigures, and as said, some of these are going to appeal to you more than others. There may be some that you think, I don't necessarily need that one. There may be some that you say, I absolutely definitely need that one, and there may be some that are in the middle where you think, I'd like that element from that one, I'd like that element from that one. Make sure that if you are going to be hunting for these collectible minifigures, whether you want the whole set or anything in between, that you use that Brick Search app, because it just speeds up finding the minifigures, and you can just do a little quick scan and know exactly what is inside the box, so there's no need to feel things, which you can't do with a box anyway, but it just makes the whole process significantly simpler. Let us know your favourite of these collectible minifigures down in the comments, and make sure that you do all of the rest of the YouTube things. Give this video a thumbs up and hit subscribe and the notification bell. Make sure if you are going to be buying any Lego in the near future, by the way, that you use the affiliate link or the QR code that is currently on screen to take you straight to the Lego website, where if you make a purchase through those links, we get a little bit of the percentage of the sale, and it helps to keep the lights on at Brick Fanatics. Otherwise, go to brickfanatics.com for all of your Lego news and reviews, and sign up to our newsletter so that you never miss anything Lego related ever again. Thank you very much for watching, and have a lovely day.